Okay, so it was 1997, and I had just turned 21 years old, and I was boarding my first international flight. I was trembling. I was sweating. I was petrified as they closed and locked the door. I can remember I was physically shaking. Like I am now. I had never been anywhere in my entire life, and I had just graduated from my university 2 months before, and in honesty, I was still a boy, just becoming a man. So where was I going on this first international adventure? Japan. For the first time. Ooh. かっこよかったね。So why did I do this? Why did I put myself through this agony? Many people are perfectly content to grow up in one place, live and work in one place, and die in one place. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But why was I purposely going to the other side of the planet to experience a culture and language that was completely foreign to me? And I committed myself to a year. When you're 21, a year's a long time. Why was I eager, despite this anguish, this fear that I was going through? Here's why. Because I didn't just want to see Japan, or the rest of the world for that matter. I had to. It wasn't a want, it was a need. It was an instinct, a compulsion. I had dreamed about it since I was 12 years old. It was my intuition, my gut telling me that I had to do this. It was an essential part of my life. It was a part of the story of who I am, who I would become. So, it's my opinion that intuition is the start of momentum for anything you want to do in life. Not motivation. Some people might think, oh, you need to be motivated first. You got to get excited about something. But it's not motivation, it's intention. Look, I can watch the movie Rocky, and every time I watch Rocky, I get motivated to exercise. And then that motivation fades very quickly as soon as I run around the neighborhood a few blocks. So it's not motivation, it's intuition. It's intuition, it's your gut telling you, look, Mark, you've got to do this. You've got to do this no matter how difficult it is to get through it, to accomplish it. You've got to do this no matter what, no matter how painful it might be. So it's to come into Japan and seeing the world, no matter how painful and the anguish I went through, it was on my, what we call in the West, a bucket list. So essentially a bucket list is this. It is a list of experiences, goals, and achievements that an individual wants to accomplish or at least try in his or her lifetime. It's a to-do list. Like a daily to-do list. I got to do the laundry. I got to take out the trash. This is your lifetime to-do list. And your intuition creates that to-do list. It creates it. And it's not just wanting to do something. For example, I want to go to Antarctica. I really do, just for a few moments. But it's okay if I don't make it. It's okay if I don't get there. And does your bucket list change over time? For example, when I was younger, skydiving. Skydiving was literally on my bucket list. I felt like I needed to do that. I never did it. And I no longer feel the necessity to do that. I'm perfectly content with my feet on the ground where they are. So, intuition is your gut telling you You need to do something before you kick the bucket, before you die. And I imagine you're sitting there, you're thinking, what's on my bucket list? What's on your bucket list? And it could be anything from bungee jumping to writing a book to climbing Mount Everest or doing a TEDx talk. And it's unique for each of us, right? It could be learning French or running a marathon, anything. We all have things we feel like we must do in life. So intuition is the first step towards getting the momentum to do those things on our bucket list. That's step one. Step two is belief. Believe in yourself that you can do the thing on your bucket list. So, for example, my intuition might tell me, Mark, you should be an NBA basketball player. For obvious reasons, that's not going to happen. I don't believe I could do that. So, belief is an essential part. It's just as important as intuition. In the West, in America, we emphasize you can be anything that you want to be, anything that you desire. You can be an astronaut. You can be president of the United States. You can be anything. But you can't. I can't be an NBA player. And while I think that there is a positive side to that kind of encouragement and individuality that we promote in the West, there's also the potential for disappointment. Well, I can be anything. Can I be emperor of Japan? Well, you can't be emperor of Japan. You can't do anything. So the message in that is make your ambitions realistic. But you can go beyond your perceived limitations. So let me give you an example about belief and how it works with this momentum thing. It was probably 18 or 19 years ago, 2005. And my intuition was telling me, Mark, you should go to law school and become a lawyer. So I applied to 8 schools, 8 different law schools in the United States. And applying to law school is a big deal. You've got to have good grades. You've got to have good test scores. You need letters of recommendation, writing sample. They do background checks on you. It's an ordeal. And it costs money, a lot of money. And I applied to 8. And I thought pretty highly of myself at the time. I had earned a master's degree by then. I had good grades, good test scores. So I applied to Columbia, and NYU, and Georgetown. These are the top of the top law schools. And I put my 8 applications in. I was excited, and ta-da, boo-boo. I was 0 for 8. I was rejected 8 times. And, I felt like a failure, rejection. My dream was crushed. But you know what? I wasn't deterred because I believed. I knew I could do it. I knew I should do it. I had to wait a whole another year because law schools only admit in the fall in the United States. So what did I do? I waited a year. I applied to 8 more schools. And the next year, I got into all of them. I was 8-0. So I wound up getting my law degree from Syracuse University. I later became an assistant district attorney in New York. And after that, I worked in private practice for a large firm. By all accounts, I was a successful lawyer. But I only did that because I believed I could do it. It was intuition telling me I needed to, but I had to have that belief. It was intuition plus belief. That's how you get momentum. So whenever you go home and write your bucket list, and you should, ask your gut, what do I need to do? Not just what do I want, but what do I really need to do before I kick the bucket, before I die? And what do I believe I can do? What do I believe that I can still do? Let me give you one more exercise to go with this bucket list exercise. You should also write a reverse bucket list. Okay, what's a reverse bucket list? I feel like we don't reflect enough on the accomplishments in our lives that would have been on the bucket list we wrote as a 12-year-old. So think back about your life. What would you have written down as a 12-year-old child? These are things I must do before I die. For me, it was graduating university, coming to Japan, getting a black belt, being published in a book, owning a home. These are all things that I dreamed about as a 12-year-old or as a boy. And as I've gone through life, I've been able to check those things off. Okay, I did that. I have more to do. I've got a lot more I still want to do. But think back of your accomplishments. And everyone here, you have accomplished something. It could be graduating high school, learning English. What did it take? Because here is really the important point, is that when I think back about those monumental achievements in my life, that mathematical formula, intuition plus belief equals momentum, it was present in each moment, each one of them. Even though I wasn't thinking about this as a mathematical formula, it was there every time. My gut told me, I've got to do this, and I believe I can. So think back in your life, considering this formula, intuition plus belief equals momentum. Write your bucket list. Write your reverse bucket list. They're both important. Because I'll tell you what, this moment right now, something just moved from my bucket list over to my reverse bucket list, and that's doing a TEDx talk. I will use this moment as momentum for my next thing. Thank you.